This is a GK Media podcast.
This podcast is part of the GK Media Studios Creators Network, helping people tell their stories. Become a storyteller today and learn about our podcaster network at gkmediastudios.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to Garry Talks Business Bytes. I'm your host, Garry Kelly, and today in our final episode of 2024, I want to dive into an episode that I know will hit home for a lot of you, especially as we start thinking about how we can wrap up 2024 and ultimately set ourselves up for a more positive, focused year in 2025. If you're feeling the pressure of business struggles, whether it's cash flow, slow growth, or just the weight of running a company in today's fast-paced world, you are not alone. It's tough out there, I know. We faced many ups and downs too throughout the past 11 years. Some of them were really tough moments where one questions everything. But I'm here to share some practical advice and strategies that can help you not just survive, but thrive in the coming year. So if you're ready to start making real progress, grab your coffee, settle in, and let's jump into how we can turn these challenges into opportunities and focus on creating a successful 2025 with the following 6 key tips. So tip number 1 is acknowledge the struggles, but don't let them define you. Okay, so let's start with the basics. If you are struggling, acknowledge it. It's okay to admit that things aren't going as planned. It's one of the things I used to struggle with at the start when people would say, "Hey Garry, how's business?" And straight away you think, you have to say everything's great, everything's rosy, and you're feeling fake because maybe it isn't that rosy and you're wondering what your cash flow will be for the final quarter, and it's all this stress going on internally. And it's great when you actually meet people who know what it's really like, who you can turn to and say, it's not great at the moment. I've hit a bit of a wall. Sales are slow. A product that I've just launched is underperforming. I'm trying to grow a team and I'm struggling managing that, because those challenges are real. But the key here is not to let them define your business or your mindset. It's really easy to get stuck in a negative loop where you're focusing on everything that's going wrong. But I want you to try something. I want you to reframe those struggles. Instead of looking at them as setbacks, think of them as lessons or even as stepping stones towards something better. So this is all part of the journey. So every time something goes wrong, I always ask myself, what's the lesson here? And in hindsight, that issue that I faced, it brings me so much further along my journey than having not faced it at all. I learned so much from the mistakes, from the failures. So for example, if your marketing strategy isn't bringing in the customers you expected, instead of saying this is a failure, try asking yourself, what did I learn from this? What can I do differently now next time? It's the simple shift in perspective that can make a massive difference in how you move forward. So focus on learning and have a healthy, positive attitude about it. Don't think micro, think big. Think that this is a journey. This takes time. There will be times where it doesn't go smooth. And when it doesn't go smooth, learn from that. Accept that this is the obstacle you're facing at the moment. This is the challenge. Accept it, acknowledge it, learn from it, and then adapt and move as best you can as you carry on in your journey towards your big goal. So tip 1 is acknowledge the struggles, but don't let them define you. Don't let them bring you down. Don't let them change your mindset. Don't let them define you. Tip number 2 is set clear, actionable goals for 2025. So goal setting. And I know everyone talks about goals, setting goals, but here's the thing. Setting the right goals is absolutely crucial to getting back on track and having a successful 2025. So the key word here is actionable. So if you're in a place where you're feeling overwhelmed, start with clarity. What do you want to achieve in 2025? Again, what do you want to achieve in 2025? And I'm not talking about vague goals like, oh, I want to grow my business. I'm talking about specific goals like I want to increase my revenue by 25%, or I want to gain 500 new leads through social media campaigns throughout the year. So make sure your goals are SMART. You know the acronym. That's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So again, you're specific on your goal. You're measuring so you know if what you're doing is working. It is an achievable goal. It's relevant to your business, and that it's within a specific time that you're going to go out there and achieve this goal. So once you've set your goal, once you've set the thing that you want to achieve in 2025, then break it down into actionable steps. So break it down firstly into 4 quarters. What are you going to do of the 4 quarters of the year? If you're giving yourself the 12 months, what are you going to do per quarter to get you closer to achieving that goal? And then break down those quarterly steps into monthly actions, and then break those monthly actions down into weekly actions, and then even little daily tasks. So in other words, okay, I want to achieve this in week 2. Okay, so what do I have to do every day so I can tick off week 2 and then say I've achieved that? And what are the 4 key weekly things you have to achieve to tick off the month then, if you get me? So it's about breaking it down into little steps, ultimately chipping away and creating an impact on achieving those clear key goals for 2025. And make sure it's a goal that gets you excited. You want to have fun doing this. So a 25% revenue increase sounds huge, but you can break that down into small, actionable steps. Like, how many new customers do you need? What's the average sale per customer? What are the products that have a high profit margin? What can you do each month to move closer to that target? So keep yourself focused. Don't be getting overwhelmed, and give yourself a clear roadmap to follow. Tip number 3 is celebrate small wins consistently. And let's talk about the importance of small wins. And this is a tip I need to implement more myself as well, because it's easy to get caught up in the big picture and feel like you're not moving fast enough. But small wins matter. And when you make them a part of your routine, they build up over time. They boost the culture within the business and the mindset of the business. They let everyone know that we are on course, that the hard work is working, we're making achievements, that big goal is attainable. So think about this. Every day, you're likely making little decisions, tackling small tasks or moving projects forward, even if it's just one step at a time. But celebrate those moments. Each small win is progress. And really, once you have the clarity of what your big goal is for 2025, everything you should be doing throughout the year should be bringing you closer to that goal. So if you're consistently ticking things off your to-do list, you'll see momentum building. And here's a great bonus. These small victories can help shift your mindset from one of frustration to one of confidence. So when you see that progress, even in little ways, it gives you the boost you need to stay positive and keep going. So celebrate, because this should be fun. It shouldn't be a slog. So celebrate the small wins. Tip number 4 then is prioritize your health and well-being. And again, this is another one I need to keep focusing on myself, because one of the things we often forget when we're building a business is the importance of our own well-being. And I get it. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in making our business successful that we neglect our health, our relationships, and our personal time. I don't know how many times I've fallen out of my own healthy routine this year just to meet work demands and client expectations. But here's the hard truth for us all. If you don't take care of yourself, your business won't thrive. So as we think about 2025, let's all prioritize our health. Let's make sure we're getting enough rest, exercise, time away from work, because burnout is real. I've been there before. It's not nice. And none of us want to reach a point where we're physically or mentally drained and unable to show up for our team, our customers, and ultimately losing interest in what we're doing because we can't do any more. I'm not saying you need to become the next wellness guru, but it's important to schedule time for yourself, whether it's early in the morning, before anyone gets up, or late in the evening, or maybe during lunch, like even go for a walk during your lunch, or making sure you get your weekends off, or just setting clear boundaries between work and personal time, because these small habits help you stay energized and focused throughout the year. I recently met a client with 3 very successful businesses, and he's 30 plus years in business. He works hard, but he pulled me in one day and he said, Garry, my biggest regret in life is I wasn't there for my children growing up. And he told me that they're adults now, and all he is trying to do now is make up for the time he wasn't around, because he was so focused on building his businesses. And he knows now that he will never get that time back with them again. And it's not just children, it's time with family. It's time with friends. It's spending time, spending quality time, making memorable moments with the key people in our life. And I'm not trying to get too deep, but we are all here for just a short period of time. And I personally don't believe that we should be spending all our time and all our energy focusing on just one toy in the playground when there are so many toys to play with and so many people to share the fun with. And I get it. Some people, whether it's for historical reasons or so on, they put everything into their business, everything into growing the business. And maybe one day they'll sell the business, and that's the big cherry on the cake as such. And they get a whole windfall of cash, and they're richer beyond their wildest dreams. But they've also lost a lot as well, because they had to sacrifice a lot to just focus solely on their business. And I think myself, it's all about getting that balance in life. And I'm not one of those who likes putting all my energy and time into my business, because I have a family and I've had friends for over 40 years, and they're all really, really important to me. And at the end of the day, if my business goes, I still know I have those key people in my life, and I don't want to lose them. So delegation is key here. If you're at the point where you're stretched thin, look at what you can hand off to someone else. Trusting others to handle certain aspects of the business will free you up to focus on what really matters, your growth and your health. And I've been there before as well, where it's like, well, I'm the only one who can do this. Well, if you're the only one who can do something, but there's other people in the business, train them up, show them how to do it, show them your expectations of what the final product or service should be. But you can't be putting all the pressure on yourself to do everything. And if you've no one to pass it over to, if you're a sole trader, you're on your own, well, then maybe start saying no to things that is taking up too much of your personal time. And if you still can't do that, you don't want to say no to things, well, let me make it mathematically sound for you. Drop the low profit work and focus only on growing the high profit margin work. Okay, because you can't do it all. And as a good friend said to me yesterday, if you just keep eating crumbs, that's all you will ever be given to eat. Tip number 5, and this is something I keep saying, but it's so important, is build a strong support network. It's your foundation in life. Building a support network is one of the most powerful things you can do for you and your business. Whether it's a mentor, a group of fellow business owners, or even just a group of friends who can offer perspective and truth, having that support is invaluable. I personally have a small circle of people that I can tap into at any time with any problem, and I trust them wholeheartedly. They are my rock, but they are also my cheerleaders. I can lean on them when needed, and they lift me up when needed too. Find your circle. Running a business can feel incredibly isolating, especially when things aren't going well. And don't ever be afraid to reach out to me online too if you're stuck in a rut, because we all face challenges. You're not alone. It happens. It's more common than you think. That's why we need to support each other. Connect with others who understand you and your challenges. Whether you join a mastermind group, attend networking events, or simply stay connected with other entrepreneurs, these relationships can help you stay grounded and focused. So reach out to others who are facing similar struggles, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it, because being part of a community that supports your growth can make all the difference. And finally, my last tip is embrace innovation and adaptability. The business landscape is constantly changing, and if you want to succeed in 2025 and beyond, you need to be willing to adapt and embrace new ways of doing things. This doesn't mean completely changing your business model, but rather being open to smart innovations that help you stay competitive. So think about the tools, technologies, systems that could make your life easier and your business more efficient. So are you exploring, for instance, the new developments in AI? And can any of them change your business, improve your business? How can you use automation to save time? Could you try a new marketing channel or platform to reach new customers? Maybe there's a new trend or consumer behavior you should be paying attention to. So always have your ear to the ground, see what's happening, see what others are doing. Be ready to be adaptable, be open to change, because that'll help you stay ahead of the curve and set you up for long-term success. So embrace innovation and adaptability. So there you have it. Hopefully the last 20 minutes or so was worth your time. I think they are strategies that, when used correctly, can be quite powerful and help you overcome business struggles and set yourself up for a more positive and successful 2025. Remember, it's all about mindset, clear goals, taking care of yourself, and finding the right support. With the right approach, 2025 can be your best year yet. Thank you so much for tuning into Garry Talks Business Bytes. Thank you so much for supporting the show throughout the year. We've gained so many new followers. I've had amazing conversations with people both in studio here, but also those of you who listen to the show and follow Garry Talks online and follow our social media channels. It's an absolute privilege to bring the show to you every week. We have bigger plans for next year. Looking forward to bringing them to life and executing them. And it's just been an absolute pleasure being on this journey and having you part of it. And if you found today's episode helpful, please do me a favor and share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. You can leave reviews on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you're listening to this podcast. It's the feedback you give back, the support you give back. That's ultimately what keeps us going. If you are in a position at all, if you're feeling generous this Christmas, head over to our website as well, GarryTalks.com. It would be absolutely brilliant if you could join the tribe. It's a very, very small fee, but it's more the gesture of people supporting the show and cheering us on. Any support is really, really appreciated. So GarryTalks.com is our website. I look forward to chatting to you again in 2025. I wish you all the best for 2025. Stay focused, stay positive, and keep building. Thank you for listening.